Bittersweet is better than sweet. For my own life anyway. You have greater empathy, and therefore you're more engaged in the people all around you.
Bill Lee's acquired taste comes from the empathetic hope after grieving unexpected personal tragedy. It equips him in his first term as Tennessee governor, when historic upheaval hit his state, from tornadoes to a pandemic, as he leads through its lingering effects.
More than anything, uncertainty and fear. What are we being taught?
Yeah, it's been very hard for a lot of people in this country. Fear, loss of jobs, loss of life. For me, loss harkens to the scripture that says suffering produces perseverance, which produces character, which produces hope, which doesn't disappoint. I have a lot of hope for where we're headed. Hope is what pulls us forward.
Governor, take us back to July of 2000 on your property here. And what awaited you?
Yeah, I've lived a life that most men would only dream of living, a beautiful farm and kids and wife and job, and changed in a moment, in an accident, horseback riding accident that my wife had, was cataclysmic, changed everything for the rest of my life. After my first wife passed away, but began this remarkable journey, how God uses that most tragic moment to be the most transformational.
Then the next year, the grief that you went through, agonizing. You suddenly get an urgent call about your oldest daughter, Jessica.
Another helicopter, another trauma unit, another period of shock and grief. I got a phone call at work. My mom told me my daughter had hurt herself, and I didn't know what that meant, and I pressed. She had actually shot herself, but was alive. And it began another incredibly horrific day that led to a remarkable season, frankly. A relationship ultimately with my daughter that I never could have imagined, even until today.
After extended time off with his 4 children, he married Maria Lee 8 years later, a former teacher and track coach, now Tennessee's First Lady.
To those that do say to you, where is God now? How have you reconciled that in your own life?
I've really come to believe that to the degree we are emptied, we can experience fullness. In the midst of the darkest hour, very hard to see God. Sometimes we need others to see him. I opened the pages of C.S. Lewis's book called A Grief Observed. First lines, I never knew grief felt so much like fear. I'm not afraid, but it's as if I were afraid. And as soon as I read that, I thought, oh my goodness, he knows what I feel like. Knowing that there's someone who knows and they're beyond it, and the hope of knowing that God will surely prevail on your behalf is a powerful thing.
I will support the Constitution of the state of Tennessee.
As governor, when you ponder, why me at this specific time, in this specific role, what are you led to believe?
I think every person should ask themselves that. But when you find yourself in a position like this, then you're forced to ask yourself, how can I use where I am right now in the most powerful way to impact people for good? And to honor God in the midst of it, and that he has placed me in this spot, and I don't want to waste a minute of it.
We're in deep political division. What does unifying diplomacy require more of? Forgiveness or humility?
Humility, no doubt. There can be no forgiveness without humility. All of us have pride, and I'm certainly just as broken as any man. Humility is maybe the most powerful characteristic a leader can have, because the combination of pride and power is lethal.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Since placing the weight of your hand on that inauguration Bible, how has this word become more authentic to you in leading?
I found myself when I became governor being very much aware of the fact that I'm not capable of doing this on my own, realizing that more than ever, I needed wisdom and discernment and guidance and insight. It's living and active. His word brings life to every situation.
How is bittersweet compatible?
When life is really short, then you ought to be about stuff that matters. There is no other rescuer than the rescuing arm of Jesus Christ. And when you are in the deepest, darkest place in your life, the moment where you think there isn't going to be a rescue, and he rescues, forever, you know that you have a rescuing arm.
In Nashville, I'm Tom Buring for CBN News.